Yo, this is Nova Trifecta. I am Jimmy Fedora, aka Alias, aka Juicy J, all the above.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Oh, you hear that note?
Oh, what's up, Nova Trifecta? This is Santa Claus, aka Big Boy Troy, aka Kendall.
I'm curious where the big boy Troy came from.
That's my middle name, and have you seen me?
I didn't know your middle name was Troy.
Yeah. It just flowed pretty good. Big
He don't
Boy
be listening.
Troy.
I actually call him Troy from time to time. You probably just
Yeah,
don't
he
be
does.
listening.
He really
Thought
does.
you just made something up.
No.
Hey, and I'm ignoring the best guest of all is my lovely wife, Lenzi.
Well, I was gonna bring her in on her own introduction, but since you brought it in,
Yeah, since you so chauvinistic, Kendall.
we have a very, very special guest, a repeat offender, Lenzi Lady Beck. Say hello to the people.
Hello, hey guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Of course, this is
Hey,
the
is
special.
she the first repeat guest?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the special Christmas episode.
Oh, Mag Negro, what's up? I didn't introduce myself. I forgot. We legit now.
Oh yeah, we legit. All right.
Mag Negro.
How do you guys plan to spend your Christmas with COVID? How are you guys adjusting this Christmas with everything that's going on?
Kendall, Lindsay.
I know from experience 6 years ago, Christmas time was the last holiday that we saw my dad. We did not know the events unfolding and that in the weeks that would come. And so I've looked at it like this. I don't know who's not going to be there next year. You know, we lost my grandfather this year. Last year was his last Christmas. I had no idea it would be his last Christmas. I understand the risk. My mother understands it. We have family that understands it, but you never know what's going to happen. We might get over COVID and other things going to happen. So I think it's important. Maybe you don't go all out and you don't have as many, people in your house, but spend time with your loved ones this Christmas. And that's what we plan on doing.
It's been 6 years.
Yes. He died in
Wow.
2014. He went in the hospital on January the 4th and he never come out. He passed away on the 24th. So, that morning he come over and we had Christmas morning, had breakfast. My grandfather was with him. We opened presents. We did not know those would be the last pictures that we would take my father. So I felt that way ever since. You never know. So I think the holidays, even with COVID, we done Thanksgiving the same way. We were around everybody for Thanksgiving, So
yeah.
That was a great man. What about you, Shop?
I don't think my family gonna get together for Christmas. We didn't all get together for Thanksgiving either. My mom is 73 and my grandmother is 91. My mother doesn't look 73. She looks about 53.
40.
but she is 73 years old, and I can understand her apprehension. My
Great
grandmother,
because you're not lying. She does not look 74.
No, she doesn't look 73 at all. But the truth is, the reality is she is.
Yeah.
And so I can understand her apprehension. At first, I thought she was being a little melodramatic, but then after you've seen how COVID affects people, and it's bad on people, especially elderly people. So I can understand her apprehension. And my grandmama's 91. She doesn't really care as much because she just wants to be around family. But we kind of gotta protect her from herself a little bit. So we're not all getting together like we usually do. So it's gonna be a weird Christmas because Christmas is still my favorite day of the year. I still look at it like I did when I was a kid. So I love Christmas. So it's gonna be hard not spending Christmas around all my family. But
Sean, will you at least go and see them like on Christmas Day? Will you pop in to say hello or anything?
I'll probably pop in, but we're not all gonna, because we all usually gather up down my grandma's house at like
Yeah.
2 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. after presents have been opened, and then the rest of the family, the cousins and the uncles and the aunts and all of them, we all gather up at my grandmother's house. We exchange gifts and, you know, everything like that, and we just make a whole night of it. But it's not gonna be like that this Christmas because they're not gonna be wanting to get together and everything. So yeah, and I get it, I understand it. So it's just a weird year. It's a weird time. I mean, it's dangerous, but like you say, you never know, you know.
Yeah.
But I know
now,
they
if
not
my mother
really get together.
If my mother didn't want to do that, then we would completely be fine with not getting together. But she's all for it, and I think she kind of looks at it. She made a post not too long, maybe a couple days back, about you never know who's going to be missing. You know, she's got brothers, sisters that have heart problems and health problems, and after losing my dad, she kind of looks at things different. And I think she's willing to take a risk on doing.
Yeah.
Sean, does everybody in your family feel the same way, or do some of them kind of want to get together still, or is it like a collective decision?
Well, I think it's a collective decision. I know my mom and my sister have been on it more than anybody, about the rules and, staying away from social distancing, wearing masks, staying away from everyone. And like I said, when it first started, I kind of thought it, they were being a little melodramatic about it. But then once you started seeing, I had one of my favorite cousins that lost her dad. And, I had another friend of mine lost her mom and things like that. So it's like, this thing is no joke. And so I get it.
Right.
I understand the apprehension. But for the most part, it's a collective thought process. My grandma wants to see everybody though. But she's 91. Grandmothers, they just want to be around family, to be honest. Grandmothers just want to be around family. So she wants to be around everybody, but we also got to kind of protect her from that line of thinking too, because everybody probably doesn't need to be in the same house right now. That I think it's a collective thing, but I'm gonna miss being around everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Christmas. So I'm gonna miss it. If I could have taken a week off of work so I could ensure that I wouldn't be around people at work, that way I would be available on Christmas Day to actually go around everybody. But see, I've been at work, you never know who came in work and who may have been exposed. I may have been exposed to somebody. You just don't know. This thing is so random and all over the place. You don't know. You might have it and not know you got it. And then take it around your mom or grandma or uncle or aunt or somebody like that. So I don't know. It's just real tricky, but I'm gonna miss being around people.
Well, Thursday, we my family, we getting together for a Christmas party, but not too many people. Just a small little Christmas gathering where we exchanging gifts. If it gets too big, I'm going to gracefully bow out. But other than that, on Christmas Day, I'm gonna just be spending time with my son. I'm not trying to go around a ton of people. I've been keeping my head low through all this. The only people I've really been around is you guys. So
yeah.
I'm trying to keep my head low until we can get this vaccine up and getting everything back together. So as long as my kid's happy and he's smiling on Christmas, that's the only thing I'm worried about, this particular Christmas. So
yeah. See, that's your problem now. You too good a father. That's your problem. What you need to do is bail.
Oh man, bail. Boo-hoo. Sad story. Black American dad story.
Black American dad story.
All right. Well,
y'all can laugh at that, Lenzi, Kendall.
We'll get
I want to be culture sensitive, so I didn't know because I was allowed to laugh.
Facts are facts. We'll get into the meaning of Christmas a little later. Right now, I want to switch up gears and get into some movie stuff. Some of the best Christmas movies. Actually, we're going to do, our favorite 5 Christmas movies. So I'm going to start with you, Shad. Give me your 5. Actually, give me two, and we'll go around that way so you won't be, going on a long spiel. So give me 2 at a time.
Yeah. I was about to say how you wanted to do it. Number 5 for me would be A Christmas Story with Ralphie. in Red Ryder BB gun. That would be number 5 for me, mainly because it's a family tradition. Well, okay. So mainly because it's a family tradition to watch A Christmas Story. Me, my sister, my mom, my brother, we all watch A Christmas Story. We can quote it line for line. So it's a tradition. I probably could come up with some honorable mentions of Christmas movies that I actually enjoy more than A Christmas Story, but it's such a tradition that I think that I wouldn't feel right leaving it out of my 5. So my number 5 would be A Christmas Story, and my number 4 would be Home Alone, the original Home Alone movie. I know when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I thought I was the black version of Kevin McAllister, and I wanted to be him. I always thought it was cool. You know, he had the gun across his back, and he kind of reminded me of Donatello from the Ninja Turtles. I thought he was cool. Everything he was doing was cool. He was eating ice cream. He was eating cookies. Hey, I lost audio. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Or Juicy, did you lose audio?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, number 4 would be Home Alone for me. So Christmas Story is number 5. Number 4 is Home Alone.
All right. Well, give me your 2. Let's start with Lindsay. Let's go with Lindsay. Give me your 2, Lindsay.
My top 2 or bottom?
However you want to do it. What? Start from 5 to 4.
5 and 4. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. So my number 5 would be the original Rudolph. You know, the little claymation that comes on every year. Like, that just reminds me of Christmas time.
With that boy that look like Patrick on there.
Yeah, Yukon Cornelius.
Like old school Patrick.
That is Patrick.
Yeah.
That is my number 5 because when I was a kid, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of channels to choose from, and every single year the basic, what was it, 6 channels, they would show the holiday movies when it got closer to Christmas, and we would just wait for that to come on. So when I see that, I know, you know, it's Christmas time, because they would wait really close to Christmas, and it was just a big deal. Me and my sister would watch it together. My number 4, I would have to agree with Shad, and it would be Home Alone, because I think every kid that watched that movie thought, wow, if someone broke in my house, like, that's all the things that you would want to do. And my favorite scene is probably like when he sets up the house party scene, you know, and you see like he's got like Michael Jordan riding on the train. Got the Michael Jordan
going around on the train.
I mean, that is genius. Like,
it is.
You think you would be that cool at that age to do all that? Like, that would be me, obviously. You think that, but so yeah, I would definitely agree. Number 4 is Home Alone for sure.
It's a part in the movie where he goes out and like he goes out off his steps and he's like, I'm not afraid anymore. And I always would like to think, when I was a kid, I always wanted to think that I would be brave enough to do that. You know, that wouldn't happen if somebody was actually trying to break in the house. But he was my hero for a long time. He was my hero.
And the furnace scene, you cannot count that. That was a scary scene.
It was.
Basement.
Yeah.
Like, we all had a fear like that, an irrational fear like that as a kid, and that was so real, like that furnace coming to life. And it was just a good movie.
And then when he broke it down, when he was talking to the old man in the church, and he broke it down, and he was like, "It's bothered me for years, but I know now that it's all in my head." Like, he made a lot of things come to real. You know, made me realize a lot of stuff when I was a kid. Like, that thing ain't that bad.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Kendall,
all right.
Big Boy Troy.
All right, Kendall, your 2. What's your 2?
Number 5 is going to be A Wonderful Life.
Old school.
Yeah, I really like that movie. Like it a lot. You know, puts a lot of things in perspective. So number 5 is A Wonderful Life, and of course number 4 has got to be. I'm right there with y'all, man. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. You know, my favorite scene of all is when he orders the cheese pizza, and he watches that movie that he's not supposed to watch. Yeah. And, you know, he like plays that scene puts firecrackers in a little pot and everything, and keep the change, you filthy animal. I mean, and he played that movie so much, and it was just. But what was funny was, I kind of felt like Kevin. There was movies like my dad wouldn't let me watch because they were like real stout, he would say, and I would like sneak and watch them, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, they just killed him, man! Like killed him." So like I kind of felt like Kevin, when he like got scared, put his eyes over it. I mean, they were just, just had the Tommy gun, just going to town on somebody. So, and then of course, man, to be left alone, and like, they wanted to set up a house like that and destroy the bad guys.
Yeah.
So
it's
number
not
5, Wonderful Life. Number 4, Home Alone.
It's not a kid that grew up in the 90s in our era that couldn't relate to Kevin McAllister. Black, white, it didn't matter. Like every kid could relate to Kevin McAllister. You could relate to him putting his hands over his eyes watching the movie he shouldn't have watched. You could relate to his desire to watch movies that his parents wouldn't let him watch. You could relate to him ordering cheese pizza. You could relate to the BB gun. You could relate to him being afraid when the burglars first showed up. You could relate to him going down and everything scaring him downstairs. You could relate to something in that if you were a kid in that era.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, my number 5. Well, okay, I want to preface this by I'm low-key a violent individual when it comes to movie and just life in general. Low-key. So don't judge me by my Christmas movies. Really. My number 5 is gonna be Die Hard. Now,
The age-old debate.
The age-old debate. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's a story about love, first of all. But yeah, Die Hard, it's if you haven't seen it, I mean, you gotta watch it. It's action. It got Steve Urkel, neighbor in it. Reginald Vale Johnson. Don't ask me how I remember his name, but I do.
It's got Danny Glover.
No, not the original Die Hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
That's Lethal Weapon. I'm thinking Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
My bad. No.
Yeah.
Die Hard. Bruce Willis. Never mind. I was thinking Lethal Weapon.
Bruce Willis. Yeah. And my number 4 is Bad Santa.
That's one of the funniest movies I ever seen.
It is.
So like, and I'm kind of going by movies that I've watched the most. Like I've watched repeat. And Bad Santa is one of the funniest, most original movies I've ever seen in the first, when I actually seen it. But I've never seen a Christmas movie like that, as vulgar, as funny as. But you know what? It had a lot of warm moments in it too, even though he was a piece of shit. It was a lot of warm moments in that, but it was a lot of other stuff that in between. And it had Bernie Mac in it. It had John Ritter in it. Rest in peace to those gentlemen. 2 legends. But yeah, those are my 2.
That's good.
That's 2 good ones.
It's back on you, Mac Negro.
So we going number 3. Okay,
go ahead.
My number.
Get 2 more.
Go 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to 1. Mm-hmm.
When I was during this process of trying to figure out what they were, this is when it got real tough for me because my top 3 Christmas movies could easily, like if I was making a top 10 movie list, favorite movie list, my top 3 Christmas movies easily could make the top 10. That's how much all 3 of them mean to me because they represent, significant moments in different parts of my childhood. So my number 3 would be the original Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
That's my number 3. I can remember feeling like Charlie, when I was a kid.
Can you refresh my memory on that? Didn't he kill Santa Claus accidentally? Didn't he
Santa Claus fell off the roof.
Okay. Well, why did he have?
Because whoever found that card had to be like it was the clause that he had to.
If you put on the suit.
If you put on the that's right. You put on the suit. So
you
Santa's like knocked out.
And to be honest with you, I always thought that it was a little cruel that they absolutely ruined Tim Allen's life by turning him into Santa Claus against his will. Like he did not want to be Santa Claus. Like they completely ruined his life. Like
I don't think so. I think it made him a better person. Becoming Santa Claus.
It did make him a better person, but he didn't want that at the beginning. And I'm like, you shouldn't make somebody do something against their free will if they don't want to do it.
I'm gonna tell you, I always wanted a pair of them silk pajamas with my initials on.
Oh yeah.
You know, he woke up Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Scott Calvin.
Calvin. Yeah. But with me, I always thought it was such a heartwarming movie because at its core, it was really just about a father trying to find some kind of connection with his son. Yeah. And he found the connection with his son through Christmas. That's a Christmas movie. It's got a lot of heart in it, you know. So I always connected to the heart of the movie. The connection that he was able to build with his son through Christmas. I always thought that was a special movie. So that's one of my favorite movies, period, of all time. Like I can remember being a kid on the couch, being 10 years old, watching that movie on Christmas Eve with my dad and my brother and sister and mom and everything like that. So that's one of my all-time favorite movies, but number 3 on my Christmas list. And number 2 is gonna be the all-time classic National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
Me and my brother can absolutely recite every single line in that movie, and we do it every single Christmas. Clark, you don't mind me asking, how much you set you back?
Yeah, bend over. I'll show you where to put it.
Hey, Griswold, what you think you're gonna do with a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
What? I was talking to her.
I wasn't talking to you.
Word for word.
But you know, it's another one of those kind of like a Christmas story where it's like you probably could pinpoint a couple of Christmas movies that's actually better from front to back, but it's such a tradition. You know, it turned into such a tradition that it's like I could not imagine having a top 5 without it there. I literally know every line in the movie. Me and my brother do it every single year. So it's no way I could have the top 2 without having Christmas Vacation.
That's dope. What about you, Lady Beck?
So number 3 for me is Christmas Vacation, because I think like when you get your family together, you can kind of see characteristics of each person in that. Like you can pinpoint them. And I've always said, if you don't know who your cousin Eddie is, then you are cousin Eddie. I mean,
you are cousin Eddie.
If you can't pick out in your family who cousin Eddie is,
yeah,
that's you, baby. I'm sorry, but you're cousin Eddie. So number 3 is Christmas Vacation. My favorite scene is probably, I love the scene where he gets trapped in the attic and he starts watching that old film, you know, like that is just, it really does. It's a funny movie, but it has heartwarming scenes. Like it just does. So number 3 is Christmas Vacation. I can't let the Christmas season go by without watching it. And honestly, to be honest, like if it's on, we record it like on our DVR and I'll watch it through the year. Like it's a good movie. I can watch Christmas Vacation through the year. My number 2, and this is where it gets so hard for me because number 2 and number 1, like it's one of those.
They can go back and forth.
Yeah. Number 2, number 1. So I hate it. Number 2 is Elf. I'm sorry. Man. Like it's Elf. Number 2 is Elf. I know. Like that movie to me, like watching that movie and watching the way that he views Christmas through, I mean, he's viewing it through an elf's eyes, but honestly it's through a kid's eyes. Like as a grown man watching it. And it's just, I love that movie so much. And number 2 for me is Elf, like Will Ferrell, and like they have the documentary now on Netflix about it. I don't know if y'all have watched the filming of it.
It's a documentary about it. I hadn't seen it.
It's
called
like Christmas movies that made you.
And they talk about the behind the scenes.
And it's so neat. Like I didn't know this, and I'm gonna tell y'all this because it's kind of cool. But when they're filming on the streets in New York, they're like guerrilla style filming. So all the people you see, like Will Ferrell's going up to random strangers walking on the street. Like when you see the guy that looks like Santa Claus in the red suit and he runs up and he's like, Santa, and then he walks off. Like
That's real.
that's a real
That was
person.
a lot.
Oh,
life.
dang.
So
Wow, I
That's
didn't know that.
yes. So yeah, number 2 is Elf for me. Like I just said that, and like my oh my gosh. Okay, so my favorite scene in Elf is when he's finally gonna go to New York, right? He's going to New York to find his dad. And so he walks through, he gets on the iceberg and he's going to cross the sea, right? And all of a sudden, who comes out to tell him bye? The Narwhal. And he goes, bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Like, that's
Yeah.
just like the best. And that reminds me of Kendall. Like, oh, like this is Mr. Narwhal. But anyways, yeah, number 2 is Elf for me.
That's a really good one. That's one of my sister's favorites. I watch it because she watches it, but that's one of her favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So like number 3 for me is Jack Frost.
Okay.
Not the scary one, but the Jack Frost with
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my favorite line in there is when that punk and him start kind of like, he always gives him a hard time, but like, like he's like, man, I've really got to get my dad to fresh powder, like he's gonna melt. And that it showed that kid's like, he understood what it was like not to have a dad. And he was like, a snow dad's better than no dad.
Yeah.
That whole movie was just like Charlie, I can't think of the kid's name. I just drew a blank. But it, him and his dad are like best friends. They're connected through hockey. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that kind of hits home with me in that movie. And so like I can't watch it without crying now. But it's such a good movie. It really is. Like even if you haven't lost a parent, or even if you got great parents are still alive, like watching that movie is like, it's so good. Like it's so good. He finally at the end, he comes back and like, he lets them know that, hey, I've got to go, but you're going to be okay. You're going to make it through. Life's going to go on. You need to go and live your life. And, and it's just such a good movie.
That's
going
amazing.
to be number 3.
That's really an amazing movie. It's probably one of the best plots to a Christmas movie that I've ever seen. Like that movie is really, 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 really amazing. Like, I love Jack Frost. I almost had put it in my top 5, but yeah, that's a great one. A lot of people ain't seen Jack Frost or probably don't remember it, but it was a great movie.
Yeah, and so then so my number 2 is going to be The Christmas Vacation. I just it's so many good one-liners in there, and it is. I mean,
it may have the best lines in the history of comedy movies.
And then Clark's like, he's got this plan for the Christmas bonus, and that's just hilarious, man. To me, right now, the best meme going around is that the meme comparing our $600 stimulus check to what Chris bought when he got that membership to the Fruit Jelly Club and everything. Like he had all these plans and everything. And I'm sure there was like a lot of people out there that was banking on this next stimulus check to do some things and come out and say it's 600.
Well, what about when Eddie tells him, Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round. That it is, Edward. That it is. And he's sipping and he's like, it's good.
It's so funny because it's relatable, because those are conversations that you'll have with your then that goes back to what Lindsay was saying. Those are conversations and moments that you actually have with your family. You have moments like that. So I think that's why when you watch that movie, it's so funny, because you start putting each family member in specific scenes with yourself inside your head.
Because that you every year on Christmas, you're gonna see a family member that you did not expect to see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A family member is going to pop up that you did not expect to see. And that is exactly how Clark looked at Eddie when he showed up outside. It's like, if I woke up in the morning with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now. Where in the world did you come? How did you get here? Oh, that is the funniest scene. Like, that is just hilarious.
Oh, and I like the scene too where this is funny. The neighbors, the next door neighbors, Margot and Todd. Oh my God, Margot and Todd, and she was
I don't know, Margot.
Why's the floor all wet?
I don't know, Margot. Because she really, and you know the crazy thing is, women are like that for real. Now, she started blaming that man for the floor being wet. He was gone with her. He had no idea how the floor was wet.
Because
I don't know how it was wet either.
No,
what are you mad at me for?
It's the guy's fault, normally.
It's always, something is always the guy's fault. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Why is the floor all wet, Todd? I don't know,
Margot.
It's a hilarious movie.
It is.
It's a hilarious movie. Even when, like, my favorite line in the movie is probably when Uncle Lewis comes in and he's talking about the gifts and he's like, what did we get you last year or something like that? And Clark's like, nothing. And then Uncle Lewis was like, damn it, Bethany, he guessed it. I didn't bring you nothing this year because I didn't bring you nothing last year.
But I'm gonna say the genius of that movie is it is just a dad wanting to make the holidays perfect.
It is.
And no plan ever goes the way you plan. Nothing ever goes to plan.
Yeah.
Everything you plan, something always happens. You got a family
that big, it is never going. We know from experience when you got a family that big, it's, you know.
And all he wants at the end of the day is to make his house light up and make the neighbors, just make everyone happy. He wants to make everyone happy.
Yeah. He does. He does. So. And it's just, the funny part is watching him slip into madness throughout the whole thing. That's the funny part. But the best, most heartwarming part is at the end, after he got through throwing a fit, his dad came and talked to him and said, "You too good a father to act like this." You know, and he asked his dad, "How'd you get through all of this when all our Christmases were a wreck? How'd you get through it?" And his dad's like, "Jack Daniels, it was just a joke." But it was a moment that he shared with his dad. And his dad said, "It's your Christmas. You do it now. I'm retiring." And that's the most heartwarming. That's the great thing about those old movies. They had so much heart in them. They just had a lot of heart. But it's an all-time great movie.
And I like watching them like a lot of these movies, when you watch as a kid, they're the type movies like you relate to them as a kid, but then you get older and you start seeing stuff that you missed. And little tidbits of stuff that you come to realization when you get older. And you're like, I know how that feels, you know. You know, that's just, it just is with all those old movies. So, Juice, what about you, man?
All right. Well, actually, I got Marcel here.
Oh my God!
Damn! He popped in. We got a pop in first time offender, and I wanted to ask him, what was his favorite, Christmas movie growing up? Being he only 18 now, so what's your favorite Christmas movie growing up?
All he done had is trash Christmases though in this era. He ain't had no good ones. He don't remember the good ones.
Oh man,
my favorite is Home Alone.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Home Alone.
I'm proud of you.
Why you like Home Alone so much?
Because it's just one of the movies that we always watch when we were younger. I always liked it. That one in Polar Express. He right. The rest of them we got is pretty garbage. They don't match with them.
The oldest. But yeah,
he picked my honorable mention, which is Polar Express.
Yeah, and actually that's my number 3 too. Home Alone is my number 3 for obvious reasons. Home Alone is almost the perfect. It's a lot of plot holes in there because how you forget your child, that's number 1.
Yeah.
You got one. You have one.
It can
happen.
We've got 4. It can seriously happen. Seriously happen.
Yeah.
So it can happen.
Oh,
it can happen.
But it shouldn't happen twice.
Kendall's lost stars everywhere. I'm talking.
But
It can happen. I can see where it can happen.
they got out the state.
But they did a
They got on an airplane.
They counted the neighbor, Murphy.
They did. They did
They
it.
counted
But
for
somebody
Kevin.
got to notice that he's not there. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't
Get you a couple more and come back and talk about that.
But that was the problem. He was invisible. He was invisible to everybody in that family.
But
They really mistreated him.
That's
He
true.
was a real brat too, but he was a brat because he just wanted attention.
Well, they
He
mistreated
wanted
him. They
attention.
treated him. They mistreated Kevin though.
Yeah,
I was always pissed off at his family because they didn't listen to him.
Buzz was the troublemaker in the whole movie.
Buzz was awful. I mean, Buzz is all time funny, but Buzz was awful.
Buzz was awful.
I agree. And the fact that he had defense like he did against robbers, I don't understand how he had that level of intellect and that level to put booby traps all around his house. Like, how did the kid think of all that and wasn't scared? He wasn't scared.
Yeah.
At all.
Yep.
But yeah, I love Home Alone. I'm one of the few people that like Home Alone 3 too, by the way, with Alex Lenz.
No.
Jump.
No.
They
Terrible.
should never have made that movie ever.
I actually liked it. I was excited.
Home
I
Alone
was
without Macaulay Culkin and the Sticky Bandits just don't work.
It does not work.
I am about 7 years younger than y'all, so I mean, I guess when I was
First off, that's a lie. Now I'm already done with that.
all right. My number 2 is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original one.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very sharp nose.
All right. But yeah, hey, Rudolph had everything, didn't it, Lindsay?
Oh yeah.
A story of courage, love,
Yes.
trust, friendship. It had-
Overcoming bullies.
you said what?
Overcoming bullies.
Overcoming bullies.
Yeah.
They had a villain in it, the Yeti.
Oh.
I mean, it had everything, and it's one of those movies that it takes me back to when I was a child.
Mhm.
Every
An
Christmas,
unbeatable villain.
yeah.
They got Yeti up in that thing.
It takes me back to when I was young because I watched it every single Christmas. I remember being in Inslee watching it. I remember being, in the projects when I watched it. It just takes me back to a happy time when, I was a child and I really, really couldn't wait to open my gifts and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
for that reason alone, and I've watched it a million times. And old boy looked like Patrick.
Oh, identical. Yukon Cornelius, baby.
Yukon Cornelius look just like Patrick, but shout out to Patrick. But yeah, that's my number 2. Drum roll. We gonna go around and give our number.
That's a nod to Christmas Vacation, in case you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, laughing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What's your number 1, Mac Negro?
My all-time favorite Christmas movie is, again, those top 3 that the last 2 that I've named are 2 of my favorite movies, period, of all time. And this is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Okay.
That's my
Pivot.
I
did not see that coming.
No.
I didn't either.
My all-time. Well, I told you that Kevin McAllister was if off the top of my head, if I'm picking favorite 90s characters, Kevin McAllister is probably number 1. He's probably number 1 for all-time favorite 90s character.
Ooh,
that's high praise. I gotta disagree. I think your number 1's gonna be Topanga, then Kevin McAllister.
Topanga was my number 1 heartthrob. That's the truth. But if I gotta pick my favorite character from the 90s, it's probably Kevin McAllister, because I saw myself in it. I like everything he was doing. He met Donald Trump before we found out who he was. He got to ride
in the hotel.
He got to ride in a limo. He had a cheese pizza. He was eating ice cream and
I'm about to say
cookies.
he ordered that big old sundae in the hotel. How cool
He
was
did.
that?
He had a big, he had ice cream, he had cookies. He got to go diving in the pool. His family wasn't around him. Like, it was like
One of my
kid's
favorite
dream.
scenes though, shot that is it one? I think it's in number one. It might not be in number two. Yeah, never mind. It's in number one. When he's shaving, singing "I'll Have a White Christmas," and he hit that aftershave. Oh my God! Because I remember my dad having that green bottle of Brute aftershave on like it, and I remember like putting some of that on my face after that movie, and it burned for real.
Yeah,
that stuff was stout.
And Kevin McAllister don't get the credit for being so master tactician in war.
Yes,
like Captain America.
You got Cap, you got Achilles, you got Leonidas, and then you got Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister. I saw a meme that said Kevin McAllister grew up to be Saul.
What?
Grew up to be Saul.
Oh man, that's
like
dark.
Yeah, but he was already dark because that's the reason why I love Home Alone 2 so much. I used to love it so much and laugh at it so hysterically when I was a kid. My mom actually would tell my big brother to put it up so I could stop watching it because it was violent. Like, that's how much I used to watch that movie and how much I used to laugh at it. Kevin was already dark. Kevin hit Marv in the face with a brick about 5 times straight. Marv should have been dead. He should have had brain damage. That is one of my all-time favorite scenes in any movie in cinematic history is like Kevin McAllister just launching these bricks down at Marv's face. And Harry keep going, come on, kid, throw another one. And Marv is just sitting there on the ground like, Harry, he just
the accuracy
nailed in the same spot on his forehead 5 times with a brick. Like, should have been
accuracy.
Dead.
The accuracy on the brick throw.
Oh my God.
He had to grow up and be a college QB. He had to.
Look, if you pay attention to it, the precision that he was dropping, the precision and the poise that Kevin was dropping the bricks off the balcony with, he didn't miss. Marv is a grown man, and he tried to throw it at Kevin at the end of the movie, and he couldn't hit him. He was way off. Like, he was too emotional. He threw it too hard. Kevin was poised. Kevin was like, I'm about to kill these niggas today. Like, y'all ain't messing with kids on Christmas. No, it's not happening. Then he electrocuted Marv. Marv should have been dead.
That's the funniest part in the movie.
It is.
Rashad, I have a question. Okay, here's my question. And Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, in your opinion, who took the brunt of everything? Was it Harry or was it Marv? Now, in the first one, though, I think you don't think Harry in the first one? He lost his gold, too.
He did lose his tooth, but when Marv stepped in that window and stepped on all those light bulbs, and he was like, "Come on, kill that kid!" Like, that was the Could you
but
imagine?
Harry had his hair. Harry had his head blown. I mean, like,
and he grabbed the doorknob. Then he grabbed the doorknob.
Kevin put a poisonous. Well, Kevin put a tarantula on Marv's face. Like,
hey, they say that was like an actual shot. Like, Marv was definitely afraid of that spider, and that wasn't. So they just dropped it on him. That's a real blind reaction to a spider that he was afraid of being dropped on him.
Wow,
I
didn't know that.
Real reaction.
I would have killed him because they put it right on his face. Like,
yeah.
But Home Alone 2, to me, between Marv getting hit in the face 4 or 5 times with bricks, getting electrocuted, and falling off the top floor on
his head in kerosene.
No, that was Harry.
Oh,
that was Harry that got his head in kerosene.
His hair, he caught that beanie on fire, and then that's when he put his head in the kerosene.
And one of the most underrated parts of the movie to me that nobody ever talks about is at the end when they're climbing down the rope, and Marv is like, Marvin's like, Harry, you got aftershave? And
Yeah.
Harry's like, that's not aftershave, that's kerosene. And Marvin was like, he was so sarcastic with it. He was like, now who would soak a rope in kerosene? Maybe this little miscreant that's been trying to kill you for the last hour. Maybe you should get off the rope. You shouldn't have got on the rope at all. And then he just lights the rope on fire. Like that is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. But again, at its core, the heart of it is why it's my favorite Christmas movie.
Well, I got a question for you. I got a question for you before we move off that movie. What about the pigeon lady? What did you think about the interaction between him and the pigeon lady?
Well, Kevin was always so great with meeting random people. It's funny because he wasn't great with his family, but he was great with meeting people and relating to people that other people didn't like or didn't accept. And so he was great at giving them advice, and they gave him advice, and he let that catapult him into doing what he thought was the right thing, and that was stopping the bad guys on Christmas. That's what turned him into the hero.
Yeah.
Pigeon lady told him to go out and, do a good deed. So he went out and he done a good deed. He didn't have to do that. He was in New York. They didn't know where he was. He didn't have to do that. He went in there and threw the rock through the glass and set off the alarm and made them chase him, and he took them back so they could get booby trapped. And I think he set out to kill them. Like, because they should have died. But again, the part that I was getting to about the heart and my favorite scene in that movie is this a part where Kevin's in his hotel room, and it looks like he's gotten everything he's wanted. He's gotten away from his family again. He's got the room service. He's eating the ice cream, eating the cookies. And then the song starts playing in the back. I think Christmas Star, it starts playing in the background, and he goes to the window and he says to his mom, "Good night, Mom." And then it shows his mom, and his mom is saying, "Good night, Kevin." And it's like, at that point in the movie, he's just a little boy that misses his mother.
Yeah.
And out of all of his bravado and out of all of his bravery and as cunning and heroic as he is, at that point in the movie, he's just a little boy that misses his mom. And so it's heart there. Once again, it's a lot of heart there in that movie. So yeah, that's my all-time favorite. That's my GOAT Christmas movie.
That's what's up. That's great stuff. That's great stuff right there. All right, Lindsay, what about you? What's your numero uno?
My number one, and it's so hard, like I said, because Elf is right there with it. Like, I don't want to leave Elf out because it's almost like they share hand in hand for me. But my number one, and it just goes back to the nostalgia of it, like what it means for me, because every single year when this movie comes on, it comes on Christmas Eve, and it doesn't go off until Christmas Day. And we let it go on 24 hours. I mean, it stays on our TV while we open presents.
I do
while
too.
We eat breakfast. I mean, it's a Christmas story.
Yeah.
And it's only because that has been a tradition with me since I was in school. Like, it would come on TBS at Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. This has been going on for years, and it wouldn't go off until Christmas Day at like 6 o'clock p.m., I think.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that's the times. And it was 24 hours of Christmas Story, and it legit played on the TV. Nobody changed it.
Yep.
And we would take naps to it, and we would wake up to it, and it would still be going on. So Christmas Story is number one. And like I said, I hate to do that to Elf, but it's number one for me just because that is Christmas time. Like, I know when that movie's on, we're about to open presents, we're about to eat Christmas breakfast. Like, it's about to go down. So
Ralphie, come back, Ralphie. Ralphie, come back.
Yeah, Ralphie.
Ralphie, come back. Ralphie, come back.
I can relate. I can relate to his old man now.
I understand where he was coming from, and I don't got kids. My favorite part is when he's cursing at the dogs.
Oh man, I love it.
No. My favorite part is either the lamp when he goes out with the neighbors and the neighbors like, "Sam Hale, you say you want it?" Like when he's telling his neighbor it's a major award. Sam, hell, you say you want it? Like that. But probably fragile is probably tonight, hot meal tonight. Y'all remember the part I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like when he's like, tonight, hot meal tonight.
You know, he thought he was gonna win a bowling alley. And she
He did. He did.
a bowling alley.
I think that says fragile, dear.
Yeah.
Fragile.
And it's so true because
It's so true because I'll mispronounce words. Like I don't know how to spell, so I will. And she knows them. Like
no, I'm saying the part to me that hits now like nothing else in that whole movie is Mom never had a hot meal. Like that is so true. Look at that. As a mother, no.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have some more? Okay. And so you get right back up and you go into it. Like that is so real now to me. Like that hits me different now.
Well, you know what hits me different is when he said the curse word and they asked him, where'd you learn to talk like that? And in his mind, he's saying, now I heard my old man say
Yeah, but
he cusses around them all of the time. Like cusses the dogs out, everything. Like, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's good. So number one is Christmas Story. I know, I mean, like, I know what it is. I mean, it is what it is, but it's the nostalgia of it. It's the heart of the movie. It's Ralphie wanting a gift and then not knowing if he's going to get it. He's facing everybody. Nobody wants to admit, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. You're too young for that. And then after all the presents are opened, and he's sitting around and Dad was like, Ralphie, did you get everything you wanted? And he wasn't mad or anything. At this point, he was just like, and he's like, maybe next year. And then this is what I love. I love that Dad was like, why don't you go look, over there? Yeah. And Mom has no idea what's going on. Like, she's sitting there looking at him like, what did you do? Like, what did you do? Yeah. Like, that is just, I love it. I just love that movie. So that's my number one.
And the crazy thing about it is, again, what's so great about these Christmas movies with all this family and everything and these heartwarming moments, the reason why we love them so much is because we all can relate to something in all of them. Mm-hmm. And so we've all experienced what it was like to be happy on Christmas morning, but also be slightly disappointed that it was one thing you wanted that didn't get. And so we know what Ralphie felt like in that moment, but we also understand what it was for Dad to tell him, no, it's something in the corner for you now. Yeah. You didn't know it was there. It's something I got because I wanted to see what your face was going to look like.
And that was what I was about to say, Rashad, because as being parents now, as a parent, you don't want to give your kids everything they ask for because that turns them into terrible, rotten kids. And you don't really want to do that. But at the end of the day, when your kid wants something and you're able to do that for them and to be a parent and to feel that in your heart, and you have to think like, and this goes on a whole other level, like when our Heavenly Father is able to do things for us, like, can you imagine? Yeah. I mean, it's just like that. It's that same feeling of, it just warms you. Like it's so selfless. It's nothing, but it's just to watch the reaction and to know that you did, you know what I mean? Like,
see, I don't have any kids, but I just remember like wanting to have that surprise and my parents' joy, my dad's joy in giving me a surprise every year. Like he always wanted to give me something that I didn't think I was going to get. And to this day, like my mom, my dad's passed away 3 years now, but my mom and my sister and my brother and them, I'm still the baby. So they know that I still like one surprise, something that I didn't know. It's not got to be grandiose like it was when I was a kid, but it's something that my mom still knows how important it is to me that I get something on Christmas that's a little bit of a shock. And she always makes an effort to still do that because she knows that it just still means a lot to me to get a surprise on Christmas. It's always been like that. So
even at 73, man, you're the baby still. So I can imagine at 73, I'm gonna get my baby son. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So, I feel you. My number one is the Elf.
Okay.
Oh, that's your number one.
I can watch it all through the year. I love that movie. And you know, here's another fact about it. They offered Will Ferrell $25 million to do a number 2, and he said no. 1 is perfect. It doesn't need a sequel, and shut it down. And so
I didn't know that.
I mean that movie is just so it's so fun. It's just so funny. It's so good. It's funny. It just I love it to death. Can I throw an honorable mention in there though?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm gonna throw an honorable mention.
Okay. Y'all have got, if you guys haven't seen it, and for our listeners, if you haven't seen it, you need to get to Netflix and watch Jingle Jangle. One of the best Christmas movies I have seen in a very, very long time.
You like the
It's got singing and dancing. It's got a predominantly black cast, and it is so good. It is. You will like it once you watch it. It is so good. With me and Lenzi and our baby, we watched it. We watched it the other night, and man, it was one of the best Christmas movies I have seen in a very long time. That's very long time.
All right. Well, my number one is not gonna be a popular number one. My number one is Jingle All the Way.
I love it.
Hey,
okay, so y'all
Turbo Man.
That's an old classic.
Jingle All the Way is. I had an infatuation with action figures when I was a young boy, so like that's why I connected with that movie. Like they tried to do all this to get this one particular action figure, and now as a father, I can appreciate it because I would do exactly what Arnold did, exactly what Sinbad did to get that toy for my kid. Now I wouldn't go to the extremes that they did, but getting out there and doing what I needed to do to get that toy for Isaac, I would do. And like,
we just went all over the other day. We just done it.
We did. Exactly.
We had to go around looking for his gift.
We had to go around looking for his gift until I found it. So
yeah.
And another thing I love about that movie was underrated. That was a prime Sinbad. People don't. You could forget how big Sinbad was. Sinbad was.
They do.
Huge.
People
and
forget it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, who don't get the credit. He might not be the best actor in the world, but the way he switched up on the movies, the versatility of the actual movie instead of the actual acting, he was diverse with the movies. It was funny. It had heart. It had action. You know, if it's on, there's gonna be some unnecessary action in it, and you know
he gonna punch somebody.
He gonna punch somebody.
And I'm gonna tell you, another part of that I like, and like I see it now. When I was a kid, I thought Arnold was just a crappy dad and he just never come to nothing. But you didn't know, like, your dad was like going out. He was doing all he can to get that one toy. But he also had everything else going on in his mind with work and being a husband and everything else that he forgot. Like
he didn't have time. He did. He forgot the essence of being a family, you know. So like he didn't have time for his wife, time for his kids. So that's why he had to promise to get that toy because he didn't want to see the disappointment on his son's face. So it was put a little strain on his family. And then you had old guy next door, you know, trying to brush up all on his wife. And you know, he finally made a pass and she hit him with that. That's that's my favorite Christmas.
I hope none of my neighbors try to creep in on my wife like that.
Well, your neighbors is nothing but family, so. But
if it's any other ones that we don't know though, we're gonna deal with them.
Oh, we're gonna deal with them. and
what you doing over here?
I can't move forward in this podcast without acknowledging the great effort that you, Lenzi, and you, Kendall, did by dressing up. We gotta get around.
They look like Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
That is dope.
It's good.
That is dope. I gotta give y'all kudos. I mean, I thought I was doing something with my little Deadpool Santa. Shy got his little hat on, But what you
I
guys
got a little sad
yeah.
hat that I can't get to do
Hey.
right.
Hey, let me just say this. I'm just glad Rashad decided to join us with the costumes. I mean,
Yeah, after the
Oh yeah, because
Halloween
last time he said he
episode.
didn't get the memo. Yeah.
yeah.
That's because
so-
y'all didn't tell me last time.
Hey, true story. This robe, she bought this robe, this Santa robe for me our first Christmas, and I have rocked it every Christmas.
Okay.
since.
But
Yeah.
I want to robe like Michael Scott had on the episode of The Office.
Yes.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That
A
robe
classy
was
Christmas.
suave.
Classy Christmas.
Yeah, the classic Christmas. Yeah.
This is
Hey,
what I want y'all.
y'all want to hit honorable mentions real quick before we move on?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Go ahead, give honorable mention.
My honorable mention is Polar Express.
Okay.
It's hard to leave the Grinch off. Like both Grinches, like the original Dr. Seuss Grinch and then the Jim Carrey Grinch, which is still Dr. Seuss Grinch, but the Jim Carrey Grinch when loathed entirely. Like, like that's one of my favorites too. But my honorable mention, if I gotta have like the honorable mention outside of the top 5, is gonna be Polar Express. Polar Express is just like, I think it came out when I was like 17 or something like that. And I remember it, movies were rare that were all like CGI like that back then. So that was like one of the first of its kind back
It looked
then.
real. Yeah.
It looked like it was kind of groundbreaking back then when it first came out. And I can't believe that we're old enough now that we can talk about how groundbreaking things were in our childhood. But I can't believe we've gotten mid-30s and like that. But Polar Express is just the heartwarming Christmas story. It just is. Like, from the score, and everything that's going on in it, it's just a heartwarming Christmas movie. Tom Hanks, so yeah, that's an honorable mention for me.
Well, my honorable mention would have to be Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I love it. Oogie Boogie. Like, I just love Jack. I mean, Jack wants to do something. He thinks he's doing a good thing. And then at the end of the day, he sees, he's messing everything up. And I just love it. I think it's weird, obviously. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people even look at it as a Christmas movie, but I like it. And
that's the only
Camry,
thing on mine. That's my favorite Halloween movie. Yeah,
see, I say Christmas. It can be either or, I guess.
It can be either or.
Because it's Halloween, but me and Camry like it. And really, it's just me and Cam that like it in the house. So when it's on, it's a me and her thing to do. And I like it. So that would be my honorable mention.
It's a childhood favorite of mine, but it makes me feel so weird. I have to watch it at a certain time of day. Because if I watch it at night, it makes me feel weird all night. Like Tim Burton movies, they just make you feel weird. The Nightmare Before Christmas, you got those movies that you grew up with that just make you feel weird. Like Sleepy Hollow, the cartoon that we grew up watching when we were kids in the 90s.
I remember
How it just makes you feel weird. It's not a scary movie, but it just makes you feel eerie and weird.
Yeah.
That's how Nightmare Before Christmas is to me. I love it, but I have to watch it at a certain part of the day because it makes me feel weird.
What if we like that weird, eerie feeling?
Then you're a demon.
What about you, Kendall? What's you got Jingle Jangle.
Yeah,
Jingle.
yeah.
All right, my honorable mention is This Christmas. The cast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Idris
That's a good one.
Elba, Loretta Devine, Chris Brown. Man, they had.
That's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah, a great Christmas movie. Sing a lot going on in that movie. Real
that
Problems.
boy Juicy got an original top 5 and honorable mention.
Oh yeah. Real Problems. It's a very heartwarming movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. All right. What I want to get into now is the real meaning of Christmas. Jesus Christ. That's why we really celebrating Christmas. And I believe a lot of the times we get confused, we get in the way of what Christmas really means. So I want you guys to kind of touch on, what Christmas means, what Jesus Christ means to you, just the whole aura of Christmas.
Well, my family, I was raised in the church. Mom, grandmom, brother, sister. My dad was a pastor. So I was raised in the church, so we know that we believe that the true meaning of Christmas is the birth of Christ. But I also understand how people deviate from that because, that probably wasn't really when Christ was born. Kendall, was it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone knows. Like, we just assume.
Yeah.
No one really knows when Christ was born. Like, obviously.
Yeah, nobody really knows. That's just when we celebrate it. But
Yeah.
I grew up believing that was the true meaning. And then, of course, we live in America, so it's, gimme, 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 gimme. So it really turned into a money thing and everything like that. And, it is what it is. But the truth is, that's if you're a Christian and the Christian faith believes that, the true meaning for Christmas is, the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I personally believe in Jesus Christ. I always have, and I always will. So that's the true meaning of Christmas to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Being in the Christmas plays around this time when you're a kid, like, you can remember that feeling of, getting to be the angel and the magic of
the wise man
and the wise
Christmas
man.
plays.
Yeah, Christmas
Yeah.
plays, baby, Christmas plays. And like me and my sister and my cousin Heath, when we were kids, and this is a true story, every year we would put on a play for our family, which is insane, but we did it every Christmas. And they would humor us. It was like the highlight of the adults. They would gather around and we did like the birth of Jesus and we would act it out. And then we would do like a little dancing and stuff with Christmas music. But the real reason of Christmas for sure for us, for our family, is the birth of Jesus. And it does get lost, like you said, because you are trying to get that toy to make your kid happy and the running around and, oh my gosh, the hustle and bustle and everything, which is kind of neat because this year with Corona and everything, I think the whole year it's kind of brought everyone back to that core family time,
Yeah.
So hopefully, we can kind of sit back and look and I do want my kids to know the real meaning of Christmas is the birth of Jesus, and that is why we celebrate Christmas.
And again, I also respect what everybody else believes.
Yeah, for sure.
I've grown to respect what everybody believes in the religion that everyone or no religion at all that everyone has. It's just for me personally. The true meaning of Christmas is the birth of Jesus Christ. I grew up in the church. I grew up Christian faith based. So this is just what I personally believe. But everybody else who believes anything else that they choose to believe is 100% A-okay with me as well.
Me too. I agree with you, Rashad. 100%.
I always loved my dad being a pastor. So for so many years, it was church just about every day of the week, some weeks. My favorite thing, and I haven't been to one, I don't know if I've been to one since he's passed away, but he always held a candlelight or, a candlelight Christmas service where, the ladies in the church put out Christmas lights inside the sanctuary. They had a tree decorated. We had, one year, I think they hung up the star that the wise men followed. And then he would just light some candles and he had it. And it was just so personable and intimate. And as a father now, I think one thing that gets lost is the sacrifice that God made to give us the greatest gift that we'll ever receive. And that was his son. And that was salvation through his son. But the sacrifice he made for his other children, which is us, he gave up his only one, that that he would be born into this world and that he would have to pay the ultimate sacrifice. And as a father, my kids hate, some of my kids, my wife, I know they hate when I have to work so many hours at where I work at, and you're gone and you're making a living for your family, and you do sacrifice so much to be able to make those holidays so special. And I know my dad, like, he took his job to an elite level being a pastor, and he tried to be there for everybody. It didn't matter when you called him. It didn't matter who was going to the hospital. It didn't matter what time. It didn't matter what anything else was going on. He was always there for his people. And for a long time, that kind of was like, man, he puts other people in front of me, but I grown to realize that was his sacrifice for his job. He had to make sacrifices, and he had to say, hey, look, I've got to go take care of these people because this is what God told me to do. And in turn, those people take care of us and God takes care of us. And it was so true. Like, I've got everything just about in this life I've ever wanted. Yeah. And I can honestly say that I've gotten just everything that I've ever wanted. I've just about gotten this life. And it was because of the sacrifice that my Father here on earth has made and our Father in heaven's made, that we've got just about, if we'll be real and honest with ourselves, we've gotten just about everything we need and ever wanted.
That's dope.
And,
that's good. That's good stuff.
So that's, it's just family. It being with family.
And that's how it is for me. You know what I mean? Like,
it's family in Christ.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. As I get older, especially just being thankful for being here another year, because you really don't know. Give me just a second, baby. Because you really don't know when it's your time. You never know. So I'm thankful every year for the additional Christmas that I have, being around family, love, and joy. Just the actual joy of Christmas that it brings, that warm feeling. Especially being around this joker right here, just that warm feeling that it brings, and just plenty of love. So that's why I love Christmas, because it gives a certain feeling, even despite everything that's going on this year. We still getting back to the basics of family, love, and just being in tune with oneself. So I agree with everything y'all just said.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
To top it off, we're gonna end it on this. Usually we do, music to suggestions, movies, and things like that. We're gonna switch it up. In the spirit of verses, presented by Swiss Beats and Timberland, which we were sponsored by verses. We're gonna do a little Christmas verses. So, and each one of you can touch on it. I got 4 rounds of this. Okay. The first round that I have in verses is Holly Jolly Christmas, and y'all just pick, whichever song y'all think better. Holly Jolly Christmas versus White Christmas.
White Christmas. White Christmas.
Over Holly Jolly Christmas?
I'm going to tell you something.
I'm going Holly Jolly Christmas.
Let me tell you something about White Christmas right now, okay? When they laid that song down, I'm talking about the Drifters version of White Christmas that's in Home Alone, okay? And you've got the guy coming in with the deep voice, and he's like, I'm dreaming.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Christmas. Okay, he's hitting it. Like, everybody in the studio is looking like, oh yeah, this guy's got it. Like, his deep voice is carrying it. I want to tell you something. This little note comes in like this, and it goes, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Okay, when that guy did that thing, that guy with the deep voice looked at him like, I know you're not stepping and trying to steal my show right now, but he did it. And I'm gonna tell you, when he hit that is slamming. I'm talking.
Oh, he was in his bag.
So is that the White Christmas we're talking about, where the guy, I'm dreaming of white Christmas? Okay, well, yeah, I'm talking. Okay, well, I'm going with White Christmas too.
Well, over Holly,
White Christmas, hands down.
Now it's Holly Jolly Christmas. Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
It's
not over White Christmas.
See, I'm gonna go with Holly Jolly Christmas.
No,
Holly Jolly Christmas is hard.
I sing White Christmas all Christmas long. I just, for whatever reason, it wasn't connecting with me what White Christmas we was talking about.
Yeah. So, what about you, Kendall?
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, go ahead, Lindsay.
No, I'm saying though, when he come in with that, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
They was in the back. They was on the other side of the glass, like, oh snap!
They was like, it's a hit. It's a hit. No, that was it, baby. That was it. Drifters version of White Christmas. That's it.
That's that you too, Kendall?
Yeah, yes, because of that very thing,
It's true.
You got that deep, and then they hit that, I can't do it. But,
and you can't do it without moving your shoulders, by the way.
Yeah.
Notice that every time you've done it, your shoulders started moving.
It does it.
It's
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I've performed this song so many times at work. that my colleagues know when that song comes on what's about to happen because
I love it, man. You got
That's
that deep.
hilarious.
I'm dreaming of a wife. I love it. It's so good.
Well, it's also in all of my favorite Christmas movies.
yeah.
It is. That's because it's how good it is.
Yeah.
All right, round 2. I already know what y'all gonna pick for this one, but this is the only one that I could pit it up against. Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas versus Boys to Men, Let It Snow.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, you can't deny
That's hard.
Mariah. Okay. I mean,
It is hard.
but
man.
Let It Snow is a whole vibe on itself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Let
say
it snow.
that's a good chill.
let it snow.
It's a two
Oh,
different
man.
vibes. You see, I mean, what do you like?
That's
All I
all.
Want for Christmas Is You. That's like the upbeat, and then you got they're bringing it back down. So
They bringing it
Ugh.
back down. That's a hard round.
it's
might go
whatever
with
mood
Let It
you're
Snow.
in.
I might go with Let It Snow.
Oh, really? I did
Yeah.
not expect that.
Let it snow.
That's a hard one.
Let it snow.
Let it snow.
That is a vibe. You right.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to go against All I Want for Christmas.
I think the best song is honestly it's gonna be All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Okay.
That is the best song. But now for the vibe, it would be Let It Snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
I like Boys to Men, Let It Snow, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've literally heard it 3 times, twice going to work and once coming home this week. And it's just, I mean, you hear Mariah Carey all the time, but God, the Boys to Men were so good too. Their vocals and stuff like that. That Let It
Right, them
Snow
harm-
was
that
so- man,
harmonized-
the harmony.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
The harmony is so good.
The harmony.
Boys to Men, Let It Snow for me.
I might
Yeah.
have to rethink that with y'all. Huh?
What do you think?
I'm gonna go All I Want for Christmas. But I love Let It Snow. But all I want when she come in, all I want for Christmas.
Oh, she did it. You
Yeah,
can't
she did
deny
it.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
intro.
it's Mariah now. So
You already know what time it is. Like
Yeah.
you know what time it is.
And I mean, I'll
Coming
say
in
this
here.
about that. Like, there hasn't been a whole lot of good Christmas songs done. Like, all the good Christmas songs are older. You know what
You're
I mean?
right
Like,
about
they're repeats. It's like they remake them. This artist will remake it. This artist will remake it. And that was one of the first, like, original new songs. And it
Yeah.
came out, what, 93 or 94?
It's been
something
some
like
things.
that.
something like that.
So, yeah, I mean, that was it's been in a bunch of movies, Christmas movies, and you can hear it on the radio and you have to sing out loud with it. It makes you feel good. So yeah, it's a good one. That's a hard one.
Okay. This is round 3. And we got one more round after that. Jingle Bell Rock. Hold on. Did I use that already?
No.
No.
Okay. Jingle Bell Rock versus Silent Night. Now, you could pick any version of Silent Night you want to, but I wrote specifically the Temptations version of Silent
Oh yeah.
versus Jingle Bell Rock.
Silent Night.
In my life.
I've got to go with man, Silent Night, like because that was one of
Silent Night.
He's talking about the Temptations version.
Ooh.
I know, but he said
Night.
any version.
Yeah.
No, he said he specifically picked that version against this one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said any
No.
version. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm still going with Jingle Bell Rock.
Over Silent Night by the Temptations?
Merry Christmas from the Temptations.
That's
Oh,
hard.
man,
That is hard.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it. Jingle Bell Rock. Well, jingle bell rock.
It's a great
mean,
song.
Yeah, that's
It's
a great song.
but
They've been in
I'm going
everything.
Silent Night.
I
I'm
have
going
to go
Silent
with
Night.
the Temptations. I do.
That's
Like
fine.
That's hard, Kendall. That's hard, bro. That's
It is
hard right there.
because here's my thing. That's not really my favorite version of Silent Night. My favorite version of Silent Night is when a traditional church choir sings it, much like in those like candlelight Christmas Eve services we would have.
Yeah.
Like you would always have one female that could really sing well in the church, and then you would have like the congregation coming in behind her and stuff like that. It just that to me, that's the version I like.
Merry, I love it. I love
But,
the Temptations.
I do too.
I
do
love
too.
Jingle Bell Rock, man. I love some upbeat music. I'm a hyperactive kid, so I gotta have upbeat music.
Yeah,
man.
you need Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one I got is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Jackson 5 versus Whitney Houston. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear all day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whitney Houston.
Santa Claus is
anything.
coming to town.
Mm-mm.
When you hear Little Mike hit that note, Santa
Santa
Claus is coming to
town.
I love it.
So you
No,
picked
I'm going Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa Claus is coming to
No.
Jackson 5. Yes,
Yeah.
sir, baby.
that's Whitney though. Like me and
Whitney.
Shaw
Oh,
was
that was Whitney,
going
but
Christmas shopping the
Whitney
other
is,
day.
you know,
Me and Shaw
Man.
was going Christmas shopping the other day, and I played "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. And
Yeah.
Shaw looked at me. He said,
oh yeah,
"Man, she sounded like an angel."
she
She
does.
sound like
I
an
remember that.
I don't think anybody in the history of the world has ever sounded as good as Whitney Houston on anything.
I agree with
I
you.
agree with you.
I agree with you 100%.
Let me tell you about Whitney Houston, okay? Let me just tell you right now. If I had her voice, I would not stop singing. I
You
would
wouldn't
be
see me.
living in a musical. I would sing everything.
She
Everything
would
I
sing-
spoke,
I mean-
I would sing. It would be a musical. There would be
You
no
said-
talking.
She would
You said they'll be living-
pulled up
y'all
in
will
the
be living in a
drive-thru and
musical.
sing. She would sing her in order. I mean,
that's a given. Like if I sounded like that, do you hear what I hear? Said the shepherd.
Yo, the transitions is crazy.
Yeah, no.
How she
Whitney
just
Houston.
effortless like with you know.
I like
that's-
what hit that one note. Rejoice when she does that.
No.
Tell the key.
I can't do it, but I'm gonna tell
Stop
you.
covering your phone camera. Your camera. There you go.
If I could do it, I would. Whitney Houston all day has got that one for me.
All right, cool. All right, I would love to continue, but we've been on here for quite some time.
Hey, before we get off, what's that one gift you got? Santa brought you, the favorite gift you ever got?
Ooh.
When I was a big Mighty Ducks fan. D2 The Mighty Ducks. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I woke up and I went in the living room on Christmas morning, and my dad had a full, real, like hockey net, hockey stick, and hockey puck. It's either that or it's the original PlayStation. One of the two.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah, that's mine.
The most-
I got two.
oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Juice. You good?
Yeah, the most excited I was in Druid Hill. I'll never forget it. And I woke up Christmas morning and I had a Dell computer in there waiting on me. And on top of that, I had a Donkey Kong with the yellow tape.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's why I love that. So, because I wanted that game, because I'm a big game freak, y'all know. I wanted that game so bad. And my mom got it for me. And I never forget looking at that yellow tape and just falling out with that computer. Like that was the best. Man, I can't duplicate that.
That's how I am about the hockey net. Oh, I went through that hockey phase because I was a big Mighty Ducks fan.
I did too, man.
So that I walked in there and it was a lot. I had a lot of gifts in the living room, but that hockey net at that point in my life, that hockey net, hockey stick, and that hockey puck meant the absolute world to me. And it set off an entire era of my life in my childhood. Like I turned into a rollerblader and everything because of that. I think the skates were there too. So I had a hockey net, hockey stick, hockey puck, and rollerblades. And I thought I was Charlie Conway from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, mine has to be like when the original PlayStation come out. Like mom and dad, like I'd opened all the gifts. It was kind of like Christmas Story. And dad's like, look, I know you wanted that PlayStation and I wanted the NCAA football 98.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know you wanted it, son. I would have loved to got it. But, they've cut my hours back. At this time, he was like a pastor and working a secular job. He's like, they kind of cut my hours back. And we just, we wasn't able to do it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And like, it's like at the end, man, he pulled that thing out. He's like, nah. He's like, couple things broke my way. Here it is. And he had the game and the original PlayStation. That was just, magical. And then I'm gonna tell you, like, as an adult, like me and her, our anniversary is December 17th. So that was like a Christmas gift in its own. Is like 10 years ago, getting to marry her. But I will tell you the craziest.
Oh,
I mean, you know, but last year my youngest daughter bought me a toboggan that I was wanting. She was the only person in the world that knew I wanted this, because I would look it up and be like, man, I really want it. And it was like a Dallas Cowboys toboggan. They had that at her Santa shop at school, and she threw down enough money to get it and gave it to me. And that was a gift that I was so surprised I didn't think I was going to get. And she remembered it and got it.
That's cool.
So, that was just one of the coolest. It was so cool. It was like childhood all over. You can ask her. Like, I was just blown away that she was able to get that.
Yeah, as an adult, the best gift I got was that Xbox One. I felt completely when I got my Xbox One. My ex-wife got it for me. Oh my God. That's second behind that Donkey Kong yellow tape. When I see that Xbox One, I fell out. I almost started crying. Yeah. Did I cry? They might got it on videotape. We ain't gonna let that video say.
I bet you probably cried.
My favorite gift that I got as a kid, I was in the 1st grade, and I wanted a go-kart so bad. And we didn't have a lot of money at all at that time. My mom and dad didn't. And so that Christmas morning, I got up, and of course, you run to the tree, and which of course a go-kart would be under a tree, but as a kid, you don't know. So you're looking, and it's not there, obviously. And then Dad was like, come outside for a minute. And when I walked outside, he had that go-kart, and it was sitting in the front yard. And I mean, that was awesome. I love that thing. And I rode the wheels off of it. Let me tell you, I rode that go-kart. I mean, I spun Whitney out of it a bunch. Like, she went, I could don't know, she'd fly out so much that Dad put one of those bungee straps on it. So it was like a homemade seat belt, because it was before seat belts were put in go-karts. And so he was like,
this was the 90s.
So I couldn't sling her out.
It was the 90s.
Yeah, we were straight 90s. It was 91. So there you go. But then, and so as an adult, I'm going to tell you something. Let me just tell you something right now. This was this year. The other day, I've been wanting, and I'm an adult now, and I've been wanting this makeup palette. And I, as a parent, like, I don't just buy stuff for myself. I just don't. And so I've been wanting this makeup palette for a while. And Cole checked the mailbox the other day, and there was a package in there, and I thought it was our Christmas cards. And so he opened it up, and it was a makeup palette. I had no idea who sent it to me or anything. I was crying. I'm talking, I was so excited over this makeup. And it was one of my friends at work, and she had mailed it to my house. She wasn't even going to tell me she did it. And so as an adult, like, that is so thoughtless. I mean, so selfless for someone to do something like that. So that just happened this year. And that was April Betts. So I'm going to give a shout out to April Betts. Thank you so much, April. I mean, that was so sweet. And I was crying. It was a whole thing. So thank you, April Betts.
That's what's up.
As an adult, I didn't do my as an adult one. As an adult, it's probably the gift I got last year. AirPods. I got some AirPods last year. I swear I've listened to those things like every single day at work. They get me through the work hours when I just don't want to be at work. And I pop my AirPods in, and I just listen to them the whole time I'm there. And every time as soon as I put them in, I just get random people coming up to me, talking to me. And I'm like, I know you just saw me put these AirPods in my ear.
Yo, that is the most.
I know you just saw me put these AirPods in my ear. I know I ain't supposed to have them on at work. I don't care. Get out of my face. You could have said something to me all the time that I didn't have these AirPods in.
But Rashad, you talking about Christmas, sitting in front of that tree where you look like a little kid right now. I cannot.
Going off the pearly whites.
But yeah,
nice funny. Christmas tree.
Yeah, I put it up the week before last. I didn't put no ornaments on it. I didn't feel like it.
It looks good.
It looks pretty. Looks like a bougie Christmas tree. Yeah. It's real bougie.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, man. I really enjoyed this Christmas episode with y'all. This was funny, insightful. This was great. But yeah, anything y'all want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Have a merry and blessed Christmas. If you're able to spend it with your loved ones, spend it with your loved ones. Like I said in the beginning, You'll never know who's going next year. You know,
Merry Christmas.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Merry Christmas to you too. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Be safe as you can. When you go around your family and everything, I guess just try to be as safe as you can. So, because this thing still is no joke. So we still can't forget that it's out there. Just be as safe as you can.
Same here. Merry Christmas and peace, love, and light from Nova Trifecta.